go ahead and get started. Kappa, Hatch, thank you guys so much for speaking with us today. I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about the project. Wanted to quickly just start out, if you guys could just give us a quick introduction, each of you, kind of on who you are and what role you guys are playing in this project.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Hatch. I'm the lead artist, or the artist on the project. So I'm an illustrator and mural artist. So I've been doing that full-time freelance for about 8 years now, I think. So my work ranges from like corporate sort of commercial commissions for illustration, then private commissions for people, and then mural wise, it's anything from private stuff in people's houses up to like commercial stuff in bars, restaurants, big things on side of buildings, kind of anything that goes. Anything comes my way, I'll draw on it or draw around it, or yeah. So I've sort of been doing it for about 8 years. Relatively new to the sort of Web3 space. Done a couple of projects with some people, and Skulourful is the newest of those ventures.
Right on.
And this is Kappa.
Yeah, and this is Kappa. Kappa, I've been in the Web3 space pretty much since CryptoKitties broke the Ethereum network, a couple of years ago. Been in the crypto space since about 2015, 2016, roughly. My normal day job is I work in IT for quite a large trading firm that works out of the US and the UK. Shanghai, a couple of other places. So, I look after and administrate and, do a bunch of techie-based stuff in my real life. And obviously within the project, you could, I suppose, call me the project manager, operations manager, so to speak. I'm part of the core team. But obviously we've got our advisors that came out of Dapper Dinos. Dapper Dinos being the guys that got backed by Gary Vee back in, I like to call it summer, NFT summer. And that's us, man.
Awesome. Glad to see it. Kind of the spectrum here. We have someone that's been through this the whole time, and then we have an artist who's kind of new to it. So I love to see that. So let's just cut to the chase then, I guess. What exactly is Skulourful? Like what is the project at its core, and what are you guys trying to accomplish here in the Web3 space?
Well, why don't you take that, Hatch, and tell them about Skulourful, and kind of I'll go into what we're trying to accomplish, what we're aiming for.
Yeah, sure. So Skulourful, the sort of original idea of it was born back in about 2018. So as part of what I do, always obviously trying to push forward and improve my practice. And at the time back then, everything I did was just black and white, maybe sneak in one color. And it was getting a bit stale, to be honest. So I decided to sort of push it forwards by trying to do some more colorful, chunky stuff. And the way I decided to do that was, all right, I'm just going to paint a big, massive canvas. And that's going to make it as colorful as possible. And for years now, a recurring motif is skulls, because who doesn't like a skull? So I bashed out this massive, chunky graphic piece. It was just a load of skulls in different bright, leery colors. And I mean, as much as I love art, I've got a deep love for a pun. So skulls, colourful, Skulourful, winner. Did a print release of it as well, and that was really well received. Uploaded it to Reddit, and it made it to the front page in like an hour, which was pretty decent, and that added to the success of it. And so then, print edition sold all around the world, which led to doing some more. Sort of wanted to develop the idea of it, so did some sort of 10 by 10 centimeter laser cut plywood skulls, so like little one-off things that were all hand painted. And I think by the end I sort of hand painted probably 100 or so, probably more, that were all sort of individually hand painted, mounted in a little box frame, and just sold. And because of the process, each one of them was completely unique, and it got to the point where they started off as just colours, Then it developed to patterns, and then it was all manner of odd things. I think by the time it got to leopard print skulls, it had just gone off the rails. It was good stuff. So that was sort of the beginning of the idea. But at that point, I was aware of the NFT space and Web3, but it wasn't something that I was sort of technologically capable myself of entering.
Hey Hatch, I apologize to interrupt in the middle of that. We're getting a few comments here that your microphone is really low, and on the flip side, really Kappa, yours is a little too loud. So just maybe if you guys can adjust that on your side, it might be a little helpful.
The stories of our lives. Is that better?
Yes, that is better. Thank you.
Nice. Cool. I can't start the ramble again. Oof, I've come too far. So fast forward a little bit. I was reached out to by the Dapper Dinos gang, who, as Copper said, were backed by Gary Vee in their project. And I was reached out to them to work on their Karma collection. So it was to do with holders of their tokens could burn one of their 1 of 10,000s without knowing what they'd get back. And they had like an extinction event, and what they got back was then a 1 of 555 artist edition. So of those, 55 of them were made up of my artwork. So that means they could burn their 1 of 10,000, and then they received a 1 of 55 if they got lucky, including a 1 of 1. And they were all received really, really well, and the sort of community feedback to it was great. And since then, we did another couple of little airdrops, and it was really good. And it was like my first introduction to sort of the Web3 space. It was, great. And they're a really good bunch. Then shortly after that, they reached back out to ask if I was interested in doing my own collection. And they would sort of back it and help manage it. Jumps at the chance because it's an exciting space to be in. And it's sort of in the art world still relatively new. And if you're not pushing forwards to try something new, then what's the point? You got to sort of keep trying new stuff. And I feel like the collection I had with the woodcut things really lent itself to the idea. So Skulourful was the obvious choice to try and work through. At which point, Couple was brought on board to kind of herd the monkeys, so to speak. Copper, go for it.
Herd the monkeys. Is this better? Microphone better?
Yes, I think so.
Beautiful.
All right, as Hatch said, I was brought in to herd the monkeys. So the guys from Dapper kind of reached out to me. I've been in, and obviously I'm in a tech space, and I've been a project manager for God knows how many years now. We had a chat and kind of met with Hatch, and it all kind of came to fruition. We put the core team together. We try to kind of put some skill sets together, being Hatch obviously the only artist. So anything that you see off of our Discord, any sneak peeks, traits, any of the 1 of 1 arts that we've done with some of our big collabs, any of the artwork that you see of Skulourful is all done by Hatch's hand. The Skulourful kind of started off. Say again, Hatch?
I'm so tired.
Yeah, we'll keep you in the basement, mate. We'll keep you in the basement, as we like to joke. It all started off as kind of like a very art-based project. But Web3 is just one of those spaces where you can't just have art, really. It had to kind of have a story behind it, have a bit of lore behind it, and that kind of kind of paved the way into what are utilities are we going to provide to the guys. And what are we trying to solve? And the key kind of component is we're not trying to solve anything. I mean, there's so many projects out in Web3 at the moment that can solve so many issues, speak to different people in different kind of sectors. But like Hatch said, there's no one in the world that kind of doesn't like a skull. And with the colorful kind of way that Hatch has put it together, I think it kind of reaches and touches people in various ways. Not speaking about counterparts that have in the past kind of done pixelated skulls and kind of, I'm not a very huge person into pixelated things. So, I kind of originally said that I'd join on just, plainly because I like the team, the backing behind it, and the guys from Dapper being, quite successful in their project and being honored as kind of advisors. And Hatch obviously having a fantastic hand, I decided to kind of join them. And, it all kind of went from a kind of art-based project into a lore storytelling, and we're going to, kind of carry on that field. But however, we're providing some utility to kind of our holders. So, some of our main utilities is going to come from our partnerships, which I've sealed one partnership with Peewee Tools. They'll be providing some of our holders with access to their tools. And one that I'm yet to kind of announce that I solidified today. So we've got another partner that'll be providing our holders some, extra utility using some of the stuff that they've got. It's kind of grown into that, started from art into like a lore storytelling, and now going into, adding a bit of the lore and storytelling and, a bit of utility onto that, because everyone's looking for that piece of utility. No one really wants to get into just a project anymore for the sake of it, as I say.
And honestly, I think that that is something that's become apparent, is that you have to throw utility out there, or you have to release really great art. Looking over Hatch's stuff, I mean, this is kind of the art that I love. I mean, this reminds me of very much like an elevated Newgrounds webcomic kind of feel, like a
nice.
Alien
I like that. Thank you.
The game Castle Crashers, like it reminds me of that kind of style almost. So I love it from the get go. So I love that you guys are being honest with it, and still bringing some utility as well. Can maybe we kind of go into what the details are for the mint? So the mint's coming up, obviously. What are the details for that? So like the pricing, the date, how many can we mint, all things like that.
Yeah, so we're going to be minting on the 26th of October. That's at our set mint date. We've waited till the last minute to kind of make the final decision on the pricing. So we're having a team meeting tomorrow to confirm the pricing. So I can't give you that right off the bat. But what we've aimed for is that each Skull List member would be able to mint 3. And OGs would be able to mint 3, but they would be able to get a free NFT. So it's kind of like a buy one, get one free situation. Obviously, with some of the stuff that we're providing, we're going to be having a token gated merch store. And we are going to be doing a set of sneakers, so Van sneakers, where we're going to take 90 of them, and they're going to be kind of Skulourful's branded. And then there's going to be 10 one-of-ones that we're going to get sent to Hatch. And those are going to be completely hand-drawn and created by Hatch that we're going to be giving out to our members. That's kind of our first step of things. So hence the paid for kind of portion of it. But we didn't want to make it too expensive. So, yeah, 26th of October, we'll have a confirmed price, once we have our team meeting tomorrow. And the collection size is 6,666. We are obviously keeping, like you guys would normally know, like any other collection, we're going to be keeping a couple in our wallet to give to marketing efforts and things like that. But we haven't spared expense with bringing on marketing teams to kind of help us. Hence some of our key collabs like A+ Karafuru. There's a couple. I mean, you can pretty much scroll down our Twitter and see. We haven't collabed with very many small projects. Which is also a kind of plus to us, which really helped us get into market. Anything I missed there? Did I miss anything that you asked?
No, I don't think so. That was the question. I guess my next question is, you mentioned storytelling and the storytelling element of it. Can maybe we get a quick give us what universe we're in, the setting, what that storytelling kind of looks like? Is this it's a comical thing, or are you going to try to add some kind of adventure element to it? I am curious to know that.
Yeah, so I mean, it became apparent very early on that we did need sort of lore story, sort of like a narrative to back the project. And I mean, I'm a big fan of big dumb trash 80s films, and I've done an amount of DMing for a few Dungeons and Dragons games. So especially over sort of pandemic and lockdown and stuff, I got really back into writing just trash adventure stories. Can't go wrong. which is where sort of a lot of sort of the Skulourful lore came out of, born out of that. So I really liked the idea of just sort of stealth invasion. So these pan-dimensional beings invading Earth secretly and infiltrating everything. Yes, I don't know how much people have looked into the project, but I can give a cheeky little rundown of the story. So essentially, at a certain point millennia ago, these pan-dimensional beings known as the Skulourful appeared on Earth. People, being pretty self-involved, didn't really notice, and these beings immediately sought shelter. Searched all over the spot, found nothing that really worked, until, in a very narratively convenient way, discovered that a bit of a human's anatomy matched their shape quite conveniently. So quick operation later, whip off the top of a head, chuck away a rubbish human skull, and insert a brand new shiny Skulourful. What was more concerning was the majority of the time people didn't even notice this switch. It turns out a lot of time people not really using much what's upstairs. After a while, this Skulourful got bored of just watching and discovered that they could slightly influence the actions of their hosts. Then thus led to the rise of the Skuluminati, a secret cabal that controls everything going on in the world. Maybe they're already in charge, maybe they're on their way, who knows? And from there, the story progresses, but we can't talk about that too much more because it starts to ruin stuff, and there's a lot more to come.
We wouldn't want the Skuluminati to hear our conversation now, right?
They're always watching. Always watching.
I don't even know if you might be the Skuluminati. You're the one that wrote it, so...
there's no way to tell that you're not.
There you go.
Yeah, it could be any of us.
Oh no, I love that. I love again, it's so fun to see, like, I don't know, like art like this have a fun story and story driven. Can you maybe speak to how the story will play into, owning one? So if I hold one, is there any anything to look forward to in terms of like comics or anything like that?
Well, you see, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. We've been very specific, and we've taken kind of a page out of some of the most successful projects in the way that what we're looking to deliver is we've kind of opened only a very small section of it. So there is going to be additional lore and things to come once we've actually gone through that mint phase. So, if we're going to kind of start letting loose about what we're talking about now, it's going to kind of destroy the kind of storyline in the beginning. But I mean, just to kind of help the set of it, the Gitbook will kind of show you the kind of lore that we've gone on. I know that Hatch gave a very kind of short and sweet version of it. But within the Gitbook, you'll also see our one-of-ones, because each of those guys will also have their own backstory, where they came from, how they came to be, who they are, and what type of people they are. If you kind of look through our tweets, you will find it. I'm not going to kind of point it out directly, but you will find, a certain tweet that was released not too long ago, in a GIF about, potential of a bit of family.
Either I got rugged or Kappa did. Can anyone hear me?
I think that was Copper.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, So looking through the Twitter, to carry on from where he dropped off. There's some. Ooh, is he back?
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Kappa?
Yeah, I can hear you. I must have dropped there for a second. Sorry about that. I don't even know what the last thing you guys heard of.
I was going to say
on Twitter.
Yeah, I think you were kind of just reiterating what you had said in the beginning.
Oh yeah. There's some stuff obviously that we've hidden within some of the Twitter posts that we've done that people kind of won't realize right now, but are going to come back into the storyline. I did mention the Gitbook. I don't know where I kind of left off. On when I dropped off there.
No, all good. We can just kind of move on to some more questions. I guess I have questions about like the art and how right here. I love artist focused projects that are specifically led by artists, right? And created by artists. Like I think of Doodles. And obviously you guys here, can you maybe speak to maybe some reactions that you've gotten from artist friends that you're doing NFTs? Because I think everyone here understands that. I have artist friends that are like, I can't believe you do NFT stuff. Like, you're an idiot. They're awful. They're stolen art. It's ruining the environment. Blah 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 blah. What is your take on that? Where do you stand on that? And how has it been to be in the art world with that being kind of at the presence of something that you're doing?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. And there's such a massive. The people I've spoken to, there is such a massive spectrum of sort of opinion. Both good and bad. So I've got because the sort of community, the art community, is pretty tight knit. So I've sort of got quite a strong relationship with a bunch of different artists, illustrators, mural artists, graffiti writers, and as a part of that, like I've got a bunch of friends that have all done NFT collections to varying successes. Like a mate of mine at the start of the year was part of a project called Yokai Kingdom, which minted out in an hour, did amazing, and now they're working on the game, and it's fantastic. And then another mate who's an illustrator, I think he's provided artwork for 3 or 4 different NFT collections now, and he managed to quit his full-time job, to sort of focus on illustration full-time. So for him, it's incredible. And then, like anything, there's people that just completely do not get it, do not see the appeal, don't see why you'd want to. But then, like so many things, like not everything is for everyone. Like not everyone wants to stand in a queue for 8 hours to buy a really specific pair of trainers, but the people that want to, that's fine, go for it. So yeah, it's an interesting space to sort of start getting into. Some people have just a real knee-jerk negative reaction to it, but then you discover that they don't actually know that much about it other than an Instagram post they saw 3 years ago that didn't really go into any detail. So yeah, it's quite an interesting one. But I feel like in my community, at least, the sort of tide is definitely turning towards it becoming more positive as more projects come out that are more art focused, where the quality of art is improving a lot. Because I don't think it's unfair to say that in the early days, some of the art was, but I feel like generally overall, like especially with projects like Doodles, like the quality of the art is just getting amazing. It's an exciting space to start to be a part of. I have no idea if I answered your question. Just ended up waffling.
You definitely answered the question. Question answer satisfied. Awesome. Well, I guess those are kind of the questions that I wanted to ask here in up front, but I want to make sure that, I don't skirt by anything or kind of brush anything with the project off. Is there anything maybe that we've not kind of brushed up on that you guys maybe want everyone to kind of walk away from this conversation understanding, whether it's additional benefits of holding it, or maybe, if there isn't anything that we haven't talked about, maybe kind of leaving on a positive note of kind of maybe reiterating a little bit more about what the project is holistically?
Well, I mean, when it comes down to the benefits, obviously, we've already done some giveaways for floor passes, floor pass, which we've done a cross collab for. So we're always looking for things to kind of, give back to our community. Obviously, OGs within our community, they're going to get additional perks, before mint and after mint. As well as holders, there are going to be obviously perks that are coming in. Like I said, I've solidified one partnership today. Not a collab, proper full partnership. But obviously we're keeping that kind of on wraps until a couple of days prior to mint. And I'm finishing off another partner talk for after mint. And when it comes down to kind of holders, it's really going to come down to once we get through that first mint and get through that first phase, which, I think that we can pretty much flush out pretty quickly. We didn't want to, like I've said before to a lot of people, is that we didn't want to come in with this massive roadmap. Because one of the things I hate about some projects is they come in and they've got this roadmap that looks like it's set for the next, 2 years. And then they deliver it, and then they start waffling out after like 3 months, and then they, the hype dies down from them, then they can't deliver on their roadmap. So we didn't want to kind of, we took the route of rather, under promise and over deliver, and that's what we want to do. And I think the main crux of the matter for a holder will come pretty much after mint and pretty soon after mint. Also, when we start moving into phase 2, that will obviously, be additional benefits towards the holders. And, there's also going to be a lot more law and storytelling things that are going to come out of it as well.
Awesome. Hatch, is there anything that you want to add there here at the end?
No, I think that just about covers it. I'm super excited about the launch of this and what we've got coming up next. The sort of subsequent phases are dead exciting. And yeah, I think it's going to be good fun. Yeah. Come and check it out.
Awesome. Well, y'all, let's go ahead and plug your all socials here. Where do we need to be locked in on if we want to get on the Skull list? And who do we need to be following here on what social media accounts?
Yeah, so obviously the main social media account being Skulourful. At Skulourful. Discord obviously would be a good one. OG is obviously very directly based in Discord. It's a lot easier to kind of go get out to those members within Discord if you want to get into that kind of OG and really just hanging out with the community and just kind of giving back to it. A lot of the guys have put in some really cool fan art. We've seen some really, really cool fan art from some of the guys that we've given direct OG roles to just because of the time and kind of effort they've put into it. So /Skulourful is definitely the one. And then Hatch, yours would also be a good one to follow if you want to just plug that in there.
Yeah, so mine is just Hatch_art on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, if that tickles your pickle. Hatch_art.
Yeah, what I'd probably also say, for the guys listening out there, is I'd highly suggest going to look at Hatch's Instagram. He's done some really, really cool stuff, and he's obviously got a link to his website for a lot of his portfolio work that he's done. I'm not going to say that it's Adidas, whatever the case is, whatever you fancy pronunciating it. And a couple of other major brands and, a couple other celebs and things like that. So I'd really recommend checking out his Instagram as well. You'll see kind of a piece of what he's going to be going for with regards to the one-of-one Vans style that we're going to be going for as well, to be giving out to our community. I think that would probably be the best kind of things to go and check out just to find out about a little bit more about us. And on our Twitter, we do have our link tree, and on there you'll find the Gitbook, which will also give you a bit of information. But, most of our information will come either through our Twitter account or obviously on our Discord.
Got it. You heard it here first, everybody. Listen in this later. Go ahead and follow those accounts and make sure you stay, active to hear more. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to see where this project goes. I love the art. I love your all's humor too. I'm a big fan of just I don't know. I guess what you guys would call cheekiness.
Yeah, but we'll go for cheeky. Yeah,
there you go. I really, really enjoy it. So awesome.
Thank you.
Good luck, and you guys have a great morning, I guess, or a great night. No, it's a night still.
11:30 for us, guys. Thanks very much for hosting us. Appreciate your time.
Guys, yeah,
always been a fan of MVHQ. I was a holder until I had to throw a bit of money towards things, but it's one of those things. I'll definitely be back. Appreciate you guys and what you guys do here.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear it. We'll see you around. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much for the time, guys.